Hi everyone, welcome to my local agency's YouTube channel. Today we're going to go over how to grow your business. I'm so excited for this video. Make sure to hit subscribe and like and share. Have a great day.
How to achieve your business goals with confidence and predictability. You're going to see that today. But really quick, let's talk about the issues first, right? This is the entrepreneurial dilemma. And maybe you all will relate to some of what I'm going over because I've been there before. Like most entrepreneurs are very reactive, right? Not proactive, very reactive. They are tactical, not strategic. You know, a strategy is something that you plant like a seed and you implement that strategy, you don't change it. Tactics are, look at this hack. Look at this little short-term trick. You don't grow a business with tactics, folks. Tactics are used on top of strategy, but you cannot grow a sustainable business with confidence, a thriving business with predictability on tactics and cheap tricks and hacks. You need a strategy. You need a plan, and that's what I'm going to give you today. Now, a lot of these entrepreneurs, they lack a plan, then they pivot at the sign of any adversity. And the reason why some entrepreneurs do that is because they did not have a solid plan. They did not have a solid strategy. It's kind of like building a house on sand. It's doomed. It will fail, okay? And they don't allow themselves enough time to figure it out. Like, this is really, really huge. And if anything, like I'm going to tell you today, I really want this point to stick. You have to allow yourself enough time to get good. You have to allow yourself enough time to see it through so you can get to the other side. Because with anything you do regarding growth or newness or going after something that you may not be as proficient and competent at, it will be a challenge. It will challenge you. It will take time. It will make you maybe want to pull your hair out. But guess what? You're on a path. You need to stick to it, and it will work. But you just have to allow yourself to live in it long enough to figure it out. Okay. Now, these entrepreneurs and that are very reactive, they don't plant enough seeds to see the harvest. I see it all the time, and it sickens me. And it's like, if you just give yourself enough time to do this, and just give yourself enough time to plant enough seeds, you'll get there. So everything I'm going to talk to you about today and teach you today will eliminate all of these issues. Now, the result of doing all this stuff, right? Being tactical, not strategic, and being reactive and not proactive, and jumping ship at any sign of adversity and not planting enough seeds, the result of it is just a big mess. A lot of knowledge, maybe a lot of courses bought, but no direct plan and extreme confusion. You got all this knowledge that you're impregnated with, but the strategy and the execution is lacking. Has anyone ever been there? Just put a me in the question box. I'm saying me right now. Has anyone ever been there before? I can't be the only one, right? Lots of me's. Heck yeah. Yeah, let's eliminate that today, folks. Over and over. Yep, let's eliminate it. Okay? No more will it be. Right? We're drawing the line in the sand today. So how do you solve this problem? Well, growth formula. Here's what we're going to go over. Two things: clarity and structure. Okay? We're going to get pretty detailed today, but clarity and structure. So here's what I want you to imagine. Okay? I want you to imagine that you're going on a quest to find your treasure chest that contains everything that you want to achieve. That's you right here where that boat is at. You see in the bottom left, right? You've been on water, but you're just about to get on land, and you're about to go on this quest to find this treasure chest that contains everything you want to achieve. And the cool part is, this is a treasure chest that you get to decide what's inside the moment you find it. That's pretty exciting, right? I get to decide what's in my treasure chest? Absolutely you do. No, but it will require work to get there, okay? But you get to decide what's inside your treasure chest. But the thing is, you got to go on this journey. You got to go on this quest. But once you get there, it's going to be blissful, right? It's going to be amazing. So what's inside your chest? What's inside your chest the moment you find it? Is it more paying clients? Is it more money? If so, how much money? How many paying clients? Is it better health? What does that look like specifically? Is it quality relationships? How can you measure that things are getting better? Is it a thriving business? What's your scorecard to say my business is thriving and doing better? Only you, my friend, can answer that. But this is your treasure chest that you're going to go on a quest to find and achieve and get all these things that's inside of it. So it all starts with a question, okay? And this is the question that I want you to answer. This is the question that I asked myself in December, and the question that I'm working on right now that will serve as my guiding light to get to my treasure chest. So I want you to answer this. What needs to happen in order for you to say 2021 was a successful year for you? I'm gonna say it again. What needs to happen in order for you to say 2021 was a successful year for you? So I want you to almost fast forward to December of this year. And I want you to imagine that you're having a conversation with a friend or a business colleague or a loved one, and they ask you a question and they say, "Hey Sherry," or "Hey Brad, how did this year go for you and what were you able to achieve?" And I want you to imagine yourself telling this person that you're talking to all the things that you achieved, and for you to say, "I really feel proud about this year. I really feel like I achieved and accomplished everything I want to go after." What are those things? What needs to happen in order for you to say that? This is a weird question, I know, but what it does, it forces you to think ahead. So you only focus truly on what matters. Because there's so many things that we gotta do in business. There's always something to do, but are those truly the things that are the needle movers in your business? Are these the things that you have to do? Are these the things that are really gonna create the biggest impact in your business? Oftentimes they're not. And what happens, we get to the end of the year because we've been so busy, we've been running in so many different directions and turning in different directions, doing so many different things that we sit there and say, what the heck did I even get done? What did I even achieve this year? I was working, I know I was doing stuff, but was it the most impactful stuff? Was it the most meaningful things? Was it the things that truly moved the needle in your business? And oftentimes the answer is no. So I'm gonna go back to this question. What needs to happen in order for you to say 2021 was a successful year? So I want you to answer that, okay? And if you already have some things you thought of to kind of jot down, just jot them down, like right now, okay? So it builds a clear vision with this question. And it allows you to expand your perspective and stay focused on the bigger picture, okay? Vision allows you to withstand the short-term defeat. It allows you to stay on your journey. Like, so when a prospect says no, if we're only looking at the blade of grass, like we have our head down looking at one blade of grass, everything becomes more magnified. But when we step back and realize that there's literally millions of businesses all around the world, that one prospect that said no, the one person you talk to, it doesn't matter. Who cares? Because you know what you're going after. So everything is derived from that core question, what needs to happen this year in order to say it was a successful year? And those 2, 3, 4, whatever bullet points you write down, that is the only goal or goals that you are moving towards with speed and ferocity, okay? So again, what needs to happen in order for you to say 2021 was a successful year? These are the areas that will go inside your treasure chest, okay? So before I continue, does that make sense? Does that question make sense? Just give me a little yes, no? Okay. Now we're going to get more specific. All right. So just just hang out for a moment, but it does make sense, okay? So we'll get more specific if it's not super clear, but I just want you to write it down. Whatever comes to mind, write it down. Don't judge the thought, because it's about you. It's about you. It ain't about me. It ain't about, because you've seen someone on the internet, make a gazillion dollars. You're like, oh, I feel like I got to put that as a goal, but you don't really want a gazillion dollars. Maybe making $5,000 a month is sufficient for you, right? Like, don't allow anyone to make you feel like your goals are insignificant, right? It's about you, okay? So now that you got the thought out, I want you to interrogate these thoughts. Act like you're like you just got locked up or something. You're in an interrogation room. You're like in those movies, like they slam the table. All right, tell me exactly what happened. You're like, I didn't do it. I'm innocent. I swear, I didn't do that, right? So I want you to interrogate your own self, okay? And I want you to answer why did you want whatever you wrote down based on that question? And then answer what about that goal or goals is important to you. And I want you to write it next to it, right? The why, what about that is important. And if you have a lot of these things, you want to just kind of whittle it down to like your top 2 or 3, because as much as we want to achieve everything, we won't be able to do everything, right? Not at once, because that will lead to more overwhelm. So what are the most top 3 impactful areas that will allow you to feel satisfied about, about 2021 that you want to achieve and accomplish? Now, these should be areas that will have the biggest impact in your business, that will move it forward, okay? Don't confuse things that need to get done with things that will move the needle in your business. As an example, it's just a very loose example, okay? Let's say that, you've been wanting to get your website updated forever, right? And a website is important, don't get me wrong. It's good for credibility, it's good for branding, but will that website grow your business? Probably not. But you do need to get that website, but the website is going to allow you to have that credibility. And then what you want to do is you want to start generating leads from your website through lead capture. So yes, it's important to get that website, but the goal maybe should be, from this standpoint, is I want my website to generate me clients. So your focus is getting your website to help you to generate more clients or more leads, right? So you have to be very mindful of what you're writing down, because you can get to the end of the year, end of the month, whatever the timeline of your goals are, and you've done a lot of stuff that, yes, sort of kind of important, but did it really move your business forward? Did it really help you to make more money? Right? Is that a core area that is really going to be a needle mover in your business? If the answer is no, but it is important to get done, those are the areas that you need to be outsourcing as fast as humanly possible. Because don't confuse busy work with impactful work, okay? And also don't feel the need to judge or make it bigger because it sounds good. Again, it's personal to you. So when I first started in local, my initial goal was to make an additional $1,000 a month. You got these experts and gurus in this space that kind of scoff at that. $1,000 a month, that's silly. You know what? Okay, that's silly to you, but that was my goal at the time, right? Now my goals have significantly grown since then, but that's where I was, right? Then my next goal after I did that was to replace my income at my job. I was like, oh, I did that. And then my next goal was, my wife always wanted to be stay-at-home mom. Maybe I can do that. Now, I don't know if I can replace all that money because she was working a job at the time, but I allow myself to think there, to go there, and to think that high. And then that happened too. So again, it's personal to you. So my core areas this year, just as an example, is I'll write a book. Like I'm going to write a book this year. That's been one of my goals. And I'm going to build a coaching program. And I'm building a new company that will help entrepreneurs start businesses that's outside of local, that kind of speaks on, from internet marketing standpoint, or people that already have a business that sell online, how they can sell more effectively, and generate more sales. My coaching program is all geared at serving you all on a deeper level. with actual accountability and coaches and to give you that hand holding that some folks need, because that's something that I feel has been missing in our company. So that's one of my core goals, is to help my audience even more than just training. And I want to write a book, because this book is going to be kind of the hub that will allow me to get more people, to help more people, create more impact, bring more people into our community, to our company, and then to lead to more sales, more coaching students, and just overall just helping more folks. It allows my footprint to be expanded more. So these are impactful areas to me. Are these the only things I'm getting done this year? No. But I know if I achieve these things at the end of the year, I'm going to say, you know what, 2021, I was kind of successful. I didn't accomplish all the goals, but I accomplished these top 3, right? So now that you know what will be in your treasure chest and why, it's now time to build a map to get you there, okay? So before we continue, is this helpful? Like, is this now making a little more sense? Is this helping more? Give me some feedback as I take a sip of water. Okay. Good. Very helpful. Awesome. Lovely. All right. So now that you know what's going to be your treasure chest, right? Like X marks the gold or your treasure chest. Like, we got to build a map to get you there. Okay. Like, what is the journey? What is the path that will predictably get me to my treasure chest, that leads to more clients, that leads to more money, that leads to creating a bigger impact, that leads to helping more businesses? What is that? How do I get there? Well, we got clear first. That's what the clarity is about. And please don't skip this step. You have to get clear, folks. And that's what we just did. Now, we're going to layer on the structure. This is typically what's missing from a lot of plans. What I'm about to go over is the reason why most entrepreneurs have that dilemma of just being overly confused. But it stops today. It stops today. So I want you to remember this. This is my mantra. This is what I live by. I've been saying this for the last 3 years. And I just want you to remember this and repeat it to yourself. The structure creates the freedom. The structure creates the freedom. Okay? What you hear oftentimes with entrepreneurship, I'm just going to be real with you all. But you hear about this laptop lifestyle and, sipping on mojitos and margaritas on the beach, and you just doing nothing all day, but money's just coming in. That may happen rarely to some folks, but that's not reality. It's not. Or from a standpoint, what happens if you eat junk all the time? You're eating cake every single day. You're gonna get fat. You're gonna gain weight. So the more that you can establish structures in your personal life, structures in your business life, it will allow you to predictably reach the goals that you have for yourself, that will then create the freedom that you originally intended. So as an example, I get up every single day at 6:15 and I go to the YMCA 5 days a week. Okay? My original goal when I started was, this is about 3.5 years ago, because I used to be a Division I athlete, as a 2-time All-American track and field, and like my whole life was athletics. And I remember getting out of college, and it's like maybe 5 years out of just not having to lift weights, not having to go to the gym. I was like, oh yeah, this is awesome. I have all this freedom to do nothing. I'll work out every now and again. And I normally was like, 195, 200 pounds. And I had spiked up to almost 240 pounds. And I was like, what the heck is going on? And I thought I was kind of in shape even then. But I was like, no, I was pulling muscles every time I played basketball. I was like, what the heck? I was like a figment of what I used to be as an athlete. And I was like, okay, I got to do something about this. So I was like, man, it's too overwhelming to just like go back to thinking I got to work out, 5 days a week, 4.5 hours a day like we used to back in track and field. I said, I'm not doing that. For what? I'm not competing anymore. Then I said this to myself. I was like, what if I didn't put so much pressure on myself, but I built a system that would allow me to get in shape without overwhelming and putting so much stress on myself? And I said, what if I just made a commitment to just sweat every day? I'm just going to sweat 5 days a week, and then the weekend I'll take off. So my structure to get back in like amazing shape was to sweat, simply to sweat 5 days a week, and then the weekend is off. That is a structure. And what started to happen, folks, is I said, okay, I'm just going to get up and go to the gym. And I wasn't getting up at 6 in the morning every day. I just did it when I could. But I said, I'm just going to sweat. So I sweat for 10 minutes, sweat for 20 minutes, sweat for 15 minutes. Then over time, it became addictive. And I was like, I'll just do this every day. I can go more than 10 minutes. And I started working out 30 minutes. Before I know it, I started getting a workout plan. And then that workout plan led to me going to the gym every day, because I used to hate going to the gym because I would only work out at the house because I didn't want to go back to the gym. But now I was like, man, it's the gym time. It's not bad. So what happens, you kind of incrementally start to stack on more structure as you build and establish a beginning structure. And that structure creates the freedom. In this particular example, the freedom for me was I got back down to my fighting weight, so to speak. And I'm in great health and I'm in great shape. And I don't have to worry about, not being able to play basketball or pull muscles or whatever. And it was a structure that allowed that to happen. And then I carried the same mantra into business. And that's what creates the freedom. That's what's going to allow you to have peace of mind, to not worry about where the money is going to come from, to not worry about where the clients are going to come from, because you've built the structure that predictably allows you to reach your goals. And that's what creates the freedom in your life. So you have less uncertainty, more predictability, and you're confident about the future. That's what we're going to do. So remember this: the structure creates the freedom. So here's how we're going to attack it. We're going to build a repeatable system so you only focus on the execution. Okay? The daily actions you take are derived from the goal, your goals, your treasure chest. Everything is derived from the top of the mountain. Everything is derived from what's in your treasure chest. Okay? We'll measure our progress so we know if we're on track or not. We have to keep a scorecard. How do you know that you're on track to achieving your goals? How do you know you're ahead? How do you know you're behind? Most people don't. And that's the reason why, a lot of people have this entrepreneurial dilemma. You're going to also set date-based milestones so your goals are more achievable. Okay? So, strategic plan. Here's the reason why we fall short based on this entrepreneurial dilemma is a lot of us focus on outcome thinking versus process thinking. And I'll explain what all this means. So people tend to focus on the outcome of something and not what it takes to achieve the outcome. There's a big difference. Example, you work out today and then you look at the scale tomorrow and be like, well, gosh darn, I worked out. I worked out like 2 hours. How come I'm not 20 pounds lighter? And I know it sounds so silly and so ridiculous, but that is how most people approach going after goals. And it becomes this stressful, daunting, overwhelming thing because we unknowingly put too much pressure on ourselves, right? I prospected one time and now I'm worried because a client didn't respond. It's tactical. It's reactive. There's no system. There's no strategy behind that. It's outcome-based thinking versus process. How do we alleviate that? So the importance of processes, your process is what helps you get to your desired outcome, your treasure chest. You want to build a repeatable system so you can only focus on execution. And when I talk about focusing on execution, that is what I'm referring to as part of your structure, right? There's so much freedom when you know you only have to do these 2 things every day, and doing these 2 things every day will lead to my desired outcome. Doing these 2 things every day will lead to more clients. Doing these 2 things every day will lead to more clients. It's no longer this ethereal, it might happen, don't really know. It creates more freedom. Mentally, it creates freedom too, right? So I'm not just talking about like getting free financially. Talking about a mental freedom. It's powerful. It gives you peace of mind. So why do you want to do this? Because the actions done repeatedly will lead to the outcome. Example, you work out every day, you'll eventually lose weight. You work out and eat right every day, you'll eventually lose weight. The action is working out and eating right, okay? You prospect every day, you'll eventually land clients. So only focusing on the outcome is very defeating and too much stress. But when you focus on the actions that lead to the outcome, that's when the results will happen. So you want to get good at that. Focusing on the actions, focusing on the processes. So let me give an example, some sample examples of process thinking. All right, so let's say your desired end outcome is $10,000 a month in recurring income with 10 clients. You see how specific we're being? We didn't just say, I want to make 10 grand a month. Well, with how many clients? Well, 20. Okay, 10. All right. Well, in order to do this, you'll need to charge clients $1,000 each. Now, your numbers may be different. Your numbers may be, I want to be $10,000 a month with 20 clients, right? So it'd be $500, half of that. But let's just go with this example. So in order to get clients, you'll need a service to sell them that more than justifies commanding $1,000 a month. So that's something you'll need to figure out, what that service is. In order to get clients, you'll need prospects to talk to, right? Duh. In order to have prospects to talk to, you'll need to consistently reach out to prospects. Okay, I'm hearing you. In order to have consistent prospects to talk to, you'll need a repeatable method that allows you to generate leads. So you now determined that leads and a repeatable method to generate leads is what you need to land more clients. So with this example, as I'm going over, I just want you to let me know if this process as to what we're doing, we're taking layers upon layers of our thinking to get to what we're trying to get to as far as an action step. Is this making sense, how we're going about this? It's very granular, it's very detailed. Does this make sense, what we're doing here? Okay. I'm kind of OCD about this stuff, folks. I like to do things in a manner that almost guarantee my success. So I almost go overboard with this stuff. So I'm just giving you a process that I do, and I know it works. Okay. All right. So let's keep going here. Okay. This is spot on. Absolutely. It's exciting, bringing clarity. Good. Love it. All right. Let's keep rolling. Doing good. All right. So continued from that example. Okay. What we've established just now is that we need leads and a repeatable method to generate leads to land more clients. Okay, I'm with you, Jay. Let's keep going. So then you want to ask yourself, well, if I know I need leads, right? Because leads are going to lead to more appointments, and more appointments are going to lead to more clients. If I need a repeatable way to get leads, how many leads will it take me to get an appointment, right? How many appointments will it take to land a client? Like, this is how I think, and this is how I want you to think about this stuff. And some of these questions you may not have answers to immediately, so that is why you track. That is why you want to track the leads you're generating. That's why you want to track the appointments you have. That's why you want to reflect on the meetings that you have and how it went, and track all this stuff, because then you're going to have a better understanding as to what your core numbers and metrics are. Okay? So nothing's done haphazardly. It's very intentional. It's very specific. So the action is, we need to set the number of leads you believe that you need, and that becomes the core number. Okay? So example, you determine every 5 outreach of leads, maybe every 5 emails you send, every 5 postcards you send results in 1 appointment. These are just random numbers, okay? But just stick with me, because I want you to understand the concept as to what we're doing. You determine every 5 outreach of leads equals 1 appointment. And every 2 appointments you have equals 1 new client. So you now know you simply need to reach out to 5 leads to land 1 new client. right? Well, 5 leads to land 1 new appointment. Okay? And you also know that every 2 appointments lead to 1 new client. So basically, with this example, if you reach out to 5 new leads, that equals 1 appointment. But if you reach out to 10 leads, right, because you double that, that's going to equal 1 new client. So my point here in showing you this, and these are again example numbers, is that when I talk about not focusing just on the outcome, but focusing on the actions, then now it's basically saying that I just have to reach out to 10 leads a day. Like, this is your number. This is what you optimize for. This is what your repeatable system is going to be built upon, because you know that 10 leads is going to lead to 1 new client, right? Like, does this make sense as to what I'm doing here? Is this starting to become more true? Like, is it making a little bit more sense here as to what we're doing? Again, these are just numbers, right? Because depending on the service you sell, depending on how you are at selling, depending on your method of selling, depending on your price point, like, I'm just giving you an example here. But the point is, you're not so strong on focusing on, I didn't land this client, because your main intent is, I got to generate 10 leads a day. I got to reach out to 10 leads a day. I got to reach out to 10 leads a day. I got to reach out to 10 leads a day, right? And that is your focus. Is this helpful, folks? Is this helpful? I know I screwed the math here, just an example, but is this helpful? How you think about going after your goals? Okay, good, thank you. Thank you. Awesome. Okay. So, let's go a little deeper. Let's go a little deeper here. All right? Let's go a little deeper. So, now that does make sense, you know that you're only going to focus on the action. And doing the action repeatedly will lead to the result. And this is what I mean by the structure creates the freedom, because now you know that you're focused on the processes, and that is a form of structure. The process is the action, a form of structure. And you focus on that action every day, focus on action, focus on action. It creates freedom for you, because you know you just got to do this one thing every single day, or this one thing based on your structure. And that's going to lead to the result. Like, when I discovered that, when I started doing that, like it just opened up everything, because I also knew that if I had more inputs of the action, it would lead to more of the result. So then you can start to reverse engineer it even more and say, well, hot dog, if I know every 10 emails I send lead to 1 client, shoot, I'm gonna send 30 emails a day. You see what I'm saying? Like, it gives you a barometer as to how to start to scale and grow. And because now you know your numbers and you know the actions that it takes that leads to the result, now you say, well, shoot, let me hire someone now, and they can do this, because I know my actions, I know my steps, I know my processes, and this person doing these actions every single day repeatedly will lead to this predictable result. And then that's how you can start to grow and how you can start to scale. Okay? So now that you've determined your processes, it's time to build structure that you can consistently stick to. What you mean? You saying we ain't done yet? Nope, we ain't done. Not at all. Again, structure creates the freedom. Okay? So structure serves as the framework to implement the processes that will lead to the desired outcome. Your structure should be baked into your life, just like taking a shower, brushing your teeth. These are things that you do without fail. So the question is, how can I consistently implement the actions that I need to take in my business that will lead to the outcome, the desired result, to get me to my promised land, what's in my treasure chest, how can I consistently build a structure to implement the actions that I need to take that will lead to my result? This is very, very important, because it's not enough to say that, yeah, I just got to reach out to 10 leads a day. But what happens when you get busy on Monday? You're supposed to reach out to 10 leads, you don't do it. And then you get busy on Tuesday, or this thing comes up on Wednesday, and you mess around, you only reach out to 10 people, but you're supposed to reach out to 50 people that entire week. See, this part is the glue here. So you have to find a way, based on your schedule, based on your availability, based on the time that you have to find a way to allocate what needs to get done in your business, the actions that need to happen. So it is cast in concrete in your life. It is unmovable. If that means you tell your wife, your husband, significant other, hey, listen, I love watching 2.5 hours of TV with you every Tuesday to see this reality TV show, but I got goals, and I'm gonna have to just cut that short for a little bit. If that means that you play softball 5 days a week, you might want to cut that thing down to 3 days a week. Like, you got to make sacrifices in order to get to where you're trying to get to. I'm not saying give up everything you do. No, because then that's the opposite of what you want. Because you still want to maintain your life, but you have to make decisions that will lead to your desired result. Okay? The structure should be sustainable and consistent. Okay? The structure should be woven into your life. So once you determine what you need to do, those daily actions, you need to configure your life in such a way that these actions are priority. Their priority is cast in concrete. It's immovable, right? There is no other contingency. You're not going to get to it when you're able. No, this is a priority. You don't go days without brushing teeth. You do it every day, right? You don't go days without eating. Unless you're fasting. But you get what I'm saying, though, right? For those that work a job, for instance, when you're supposed to show up, you show up, right? Right? And if you don't show up, what happens? You won't be there too long. So I want you to treat the actions that you got to take on the same level of those areas, and treat it like this is a job you got to show up to. Okay? So example, getting in shape. I will work out 5 days a week, starting only 10 minutes a day, Monday through Friday. That's kind of how I started back. Becoming consistent at prospecting. I will commit to reaching out to business owners 5 days per week to at least 3 businesses per day via email or face-to-face. So we've established the action. Let's say this action of prospecting is reaching out to 3 businesses a day, but then that's what you commit to. So then you look at your schedule and your life and how your life is currently configured and say, how can I reach out to 3 people a day, 5 days a week? Because I gotta do this. And you figure it out. Okay? So now that you understand the importance of process, let's get more detailed and measure our progress. You mean we ain't done yet? No, we're still not done. Okay? All right. Quick check-in. Is this helping anybody? Is this good? Is this helpful? All right. First one is awesome. Athlete to athlete. Thank you. Brilliant. This is good. Good stuff. Yeah. This is my process, folks, and I think you're quickly seeing that you don't just do this in like a 5-minute setting. Like, this takes time, and it's okay. But the moment you are clear on your goals, what you need to accomplish, the action steps, your structure, the only thing you do is execute, my friend. and it becomes beautiful. You'll quickly see yourself hitting goals and getting clients and making money, and it's just like you almost feel like you've hacked the system because you're clear and you're just executing. The structure creates the freedom. All right, let's keep rolling here. All right, so we're gonna get more detailed. We're gonna measure our progress now. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna build a workable system. We will measure, review, and track the effectiveness of our system. We will always have top of mind awareness on where we're at and what needs to be done for tweaking and improvement, because you gotta have a scorecard, okay? So the phases, to give you a visual, is I like to break things down into 12-week goals. A good book I do recommend, just for your reading, is called the 12-week year. It's called the 12-week year. Good book. So the phases are, you have your main goal, which we've established already, what needs to happen in 2021 for you to feel it was a successful year for you. And you already wrote those things down. Well, you will write them down when you do this exercise. So then we're going to break some of those goals up and put them into 12-week increments. So just once per quarter, okay? And if it's a monetary goal, for instance, which I believe if it's only monetary, it needs to be more thorough and more detailed. If we're talking about the framework of getting clients, right? It's not enough to say I need to make $10,000, but what kind of service are you selling? For what price point? How many clients does it require? So you want to break that number down, and we have established that as 10 clients as an example, right? So let's say we're still leading with 10 clients, right? And let's just say that, let's say it's 12 clients. So simple math. So 3 clients, 4 quarters in a year. So we need to land 3 clients every 12 weeks. Okay. So that would be a goal, right? Let's say you want to land 12 clients for the year. Every 12 weeks, that'd be 3 clients. So what actions does it take to land 3 clients in 12 weeks? We already went over that process, but this is how I want you to break it down so it's more doable and it's not overwhelming. So once you break that down for 12 weeks, this also provides a more doable and less stressful approach, because you're not looking at the entire picture, you're just looking at a piece of the picture. But the piece of the picture you're looking at is derived from the big picture. So you're never off track. You're always on target, okay? But it just makes it more manageable to do. So then you take those 12 weeks and you whittle them down to the actions. Week 1, week 2, week 3, all the way to week 12. And then once you have your weekly actions, you whittle that down to your daily actions. So now you know exactly what you're doing every single day of the week, but the daily actions are derived from the weekly actions, which the weekly actions are derived from the 12-week actions, and the 12-week actions are derived from your main goal. Can you see that if you were to do this process, you would be able to predictably hit your goals? Can you see that? Yes. I know it's a little bit overkill, but if you want a guaranteed way to get to where you're trying to go, I recommend you do this. Let's keep going. So as an example, just as we continue, why 12 weeks? Easier to digest. It's enough to stretch you, but also enough to push you, okay? It allows you to focus more on the right now with urgency. And what I mean by enough to stretch you and push you is that, like, most people, they'll say, yeah, this is what I want to accomplish for the year, right? And they kind of procrastinate because, they may waste January and February, and then, April, they're like, okay, I got like 8 months left. Now I'm gonna get it in gear. And it just doesn't happen. But when you push for 12-week goals, week by week, right, it keeps you focused, right? You're in the hunt the entire time. you never lose sight of what you're going after, right? And that's why 12 weeks is just a good, it's just a good chunk of a time frame to go after. It helps you realize exactly what you should be doing. So if you look at the main goal, what's the main goals you want to achieve within the next 12 weeks, right? Write that down. What stands out the most? Again, this is derived from what you want to achieve for the year. Okay, so this should be simple. Answer why. Again, be specific, set that number. Example, $10,000 a month of revenue with 10 clients paying $1,000 a month. Create an automated selling system that sells and educates potential prospects. Like that could be, one of your core goals, right? Do one speaking gig with the Chamber of Commerce. But again, all of these areas that you want to achieve should be derived from your main goal that you want, the main goal or goals in plural that you want to achieve for the year. And as an example, let's say that one of your main goals to feel successful about 2021 is to get multiple clients, to get multiple clients all at once, right? Doing a live event, for instance. And you say, well, what would be a good path to help me get there? And you say, oh, let me start speaking at the chamber. And if I start speaking at the chamber, I can leverage my membership to start getting in front of, smaller groups at a time, just leveraging the chamber event, because I know the chamber always wants people to talk on marketing because it helps them with their retention and stuff. But if I start doing that throughout the year, not only will I start to brand myself as an expert in marketing, I can start building an email list of people that come to my speaking engagements. I'll probably end up getting clients from them, but then it will allow me to put my own live event together, because now I have this big list of all these business owners in my city, and they know me, so there's credibility and authority there. And then it allows me to fill a room, because I've been doing this kind of low ground work, speaking, doing these gigs at a time the entire year. So it allows you to hit your main goal of doing your own event and maybe getting dinner and lunch and just selling the entire room at once. Does that make sense? So sometimes you got to do things that put you on the path to lead you to accomplishing your main goal. I know I'm kind of over explaining, but I really want to go over these concepts so it's very clear. So another example is, and this is a real one, automate and advertise a local webinar to business owners. So I always say, well, what actions need to be done for each goal? So this is kind of like my iterative process. So example for automating a local webinar, I need to record the webinar. I need to write out the email nurture sequence. I need to find a platform to record it on. I need to figure out how to run ads to cold traffic to it. I need to map out the best way to promote it to business owners. I need to reach out to the Chamber of Commerce to see if they will promote it for me. I need to reach out to organizations to form potential joint venture partnerships, right? These are all things. And when you have these things, right, that need to be done, like this is, so the goal, as an example, is in 12 weeks, I will automate and advertise a local webinar for business owners. That's the goal, 12-week goal, right? But then throughout those 12 weeks, I'm going to break these tasks down that need to be done. Record the webinar, write the email nurture sequence. Make sense? So now it's just a matter of executing and doing the things, because if you do all the things, it will lead to the outcome, the result. Another example, launch my business so that all my branding and credibility is in place. So what needs to be done? I need to get a logo. I need to build a new website. I need to get my social logos created. I need to identify my ideal clients, my client avatar. I need to map out the services I'm going to sell, the products, the coaching. I need to identify my pricing for the services I'm going to sell. I need to get social media accounts set up. I need to get congruent branding, a logo, maybe through Fiverr. I need to get business cards created. I need to get an LLC, right? And all these things that you need to do, this is one of your 12-week goals. You just now assign week by week when you need to do those things. Let's keep going. So once you've written all those things down, now it's time to put order to it. and you say, what is the order of importance for the main goals you wish to accomplish? What should happen first, second, third? Write it down. So then assign a milestone of completion for those tasks. So the way I like to do it, what I call it, let me just go back to here so I'm very clear, is if I go in this example and say one of my 12-week goals is to launch my business so that all my branding and credibility is in place. And then I do what I call a brain dump. And I'll say, what does that require? What needs to be done in order to achieve that? And I just jot all this stuff down. There's no order to it whatsoever. I need to do this, need to do that, need to do this. This is my brain dump, right? So then once you've written it down, this is when you put order to it. What needs to happen first? What needs to happen second? And then you assign that milestone of completion for the task, right? So as an example, going back to the same one, I know that I need to map out the services I'm going to sell and then identify the pricing. I'm going to do that in week 1. But then in week 2, I'm going to identify my ideal clients and then get my social media account set up. And then in week 3, I'm going to assign, I'm going to do this. And then in week 4, I'm going to do this. So can you see by doing it in this manner, it's not as overwhelming because you're mapping it all out. And if I know in week 1 I only got 2 things to do, my entire focus, my every bit of energy I have is just getting these 2 things done for week 1. That's it, right? So now break down your key goals down by week, right? What are the specific daily tactics that you must do to achieve the weekly goals that you have set? You write those down, right? So here's a kind of an older example. So one of my examples when we were actively going after franchises was to build a franchise prospecting approach and system for birthday marketing, which is funny because we're doing that again this year. So I have all these things broken down, week 1, week 2, all this kind of stuff, right? And then what I'll do is I'll just break it down like this, simple little Google spreadsheet, and I'll say, okay, here's the main goal: create a solid franchise prospecting approach system. Then the tactics, right? The define, deliverable, what am I selling, the packages, right? So week 1 is getting clear. And then I'm also going to identify a beginning sales process in week 1. I'm going to identify a free strategy angle on how I'll be positioned, right? And that's what I focus on for that week. So now I know exactly what needs to be done in week 1, but it's derived from that core 12-week goal, which is to create a solid franchising prospecting system for birthday marketing, right? So as I end here, focus on the processes, not the outcome. What are the actions that will lead to the outcome? Find the areas of action you can repeatedly do to build a habit of the person you wish to become. So what I mean by that is there may be new skills, new knowledge, new education that you're going to have to get in order to become what you're trying to achieve, in order to achieve what you're trying to do. So there may be things that you need to learn more of. As an example, this is just this year, so last year, I had this goal for 2021 is to learn how to buy companies and acquire businesses. I had no clue how to do any of that. So I invested in training with Roland Frazier. I paid a few grand for it, and it went through a process of me learning how to buy businesses. So I'll be buying software companies and then having those software companies, having my developers to start to improve that software and then provide it to our community. And the reason why we're doing that is going to cut down on development time, because usually, an app from start to finish may take 6 months, 6 to 8 months. But we can cut that down to 2 to 3 months, and it's going to provide value for you all to go out and sell more effectively, then it's worth it. But I could never do that unless I went and got the skill set first of learning how to buy businesses. So that was my goal. One of my 2020 goals was learning how to buy businesses. And as of I think it was like first of the year, like January 1st or 2nd, I bought my first SaaS company, right? From what I learned in 2020. And you're going to be seeing that very soon as well, maybe in the next couple of months, as to what we acquire, what we purchase. So that's what I mean. There may be things that you need to get, knowledge, education, in order for you to achieve those goals that you have. And if it takes that, you do it, okay? Form structures that are sustainable. It's okay to start small, folks, okay? Always measure and track the activities that lead to the result, not the result itself, okay? You do want to look at the result, but after you have your milestones. So what I mean by that is, when you look at your 90 days, or you're looking at, week by week, just kind of see where you at. Like, did I do the actions that I need to do this week? If I did do the actions I need to do this week, this last 2 weeks, this last 90 days, 12 weeks, am I closer to my goals? And if you're not, then you go back and reflect and you adjust and you tweak. But the fact that you're measuring, you'll know where those bottlenecks are at, areas that you need to improve and tweak. Work from a schedule and be militant with your time. That's what I mean by the structure. If your structure is, when I get from work and I have, and my structure is 2 hours to work on my business, that's casting concrete, folks. That's sacred time. Those 2 hours, nobody messes with you in those 2 hours. I know when I was working a job, I was working 12-hour shifts. I had a couple hours a day, and I would tell my wife, I said, Carolyn, I love you. Girls, I love you. We're definitely going to spend time together. We always do. But during this time, like these 2-3 hours, these hour and a half that I have, I need my office door to be closed, and I don't need any distractions. Right? And they understood, because it's for a greater good. So you want to be very militant with your time, okay? You want to always keep your vision in front of you. So it's not enough to say that here's all the goals I want to achieve, what's in your treasure chest, but then you never come back to it. Write those things down, print it out, and you keep that in front of you. You put it on your mirror, you put it on your desk, you put it in your sun visor when you're driving your car. You want to make it so that you're going to be motivated or disappointed and sickened by having your goals in front of you, because it's going to speak to you. If you're seeing this stuff, your goals every single day, and you know you're not doing a darn thing to achieve those goals, it's going to make you want to ball that piece of paper up and throw it away. But you need that. You need that self-accountability. You need to see where you're at and what you're doing or not doing. Okay? It will help you. And commit to growing daily, right? Daily growth should become a habit. What I mean by that is find a way to read at least 15 minutes a day, listen to a podcast at least 15-20 minutes a day. You have the time, just do it. And over time, it like I like to look at it not just from a learning perspective, but from a standpoint of you keeping the finger on the pulse, because you're learning a tip here today, you're learning something here tomorrow, and every single day it compounds. And the more knowledge that compounds, like the more of an astute entrepreneur you become. And I'm just sharing what I did and what I continue to do. Like, folks, I can't even write to this day, I don't know how to write a formal business plan. I've been able to build $1 million plus business. How does that even happen? By leveraging the knowledge of others, by reading every single day, by listening to podcasts, by executing, by doing systems like this, right? I just lean on the greatness and experience and brains of others, and that's why I tell that to my kids every single day. I'm like, reading is so amazing, even if you're listening to books. Like I was telling my daughter this other day, she's 11, and I was telling Jasmine, like, did you read today? She was like, well, I don't want to read. I was like, think about this. I said, I said, we went to Las Vegas and went to the Grand Canyon last week, right? She's like, yeah. So was it awesome? She's like, yeah. I said, what if someone's never been to the Grand Canyon and you just wrote up and maybe like, a few paragraphs describing how it was, how the helicopter was, how the landscape was, the things that you've seen, and someone who's never been there and they read your stuff, do you think they would get value from it? Do you think they would like that? She's like, yeah. I was like, that's what books are. It's just sharing your experiences, your knowledge. And I was like, to be able to take all of that and like download it into your brain, like from years of someone's experience, is powerful, right? So I read and listen to something every single day. So folks, you got this. And I hope this training was helpful. I hope it was helpful. And that's all I got.
That's really good, Jason.